You're on top of a microwave.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, start. I probably will start a video like this. I'll start a video like this. I'm starting the video like this. I kind of want to see. Will you see me brush my teeth? Okay, I'm gonna try something. This will be funny. Okay. If I take my hand out of the camera and then I can sort of like pull it towards me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna turn this one video off and then I'm just gonna. I don't know if that looked cool or not.
Okay, now you're gonna be over here. This can. Oh. No? Okay. This there. I'm not gonna, of course, take off my clothes while I'm recording. That's kind of absurd. I'm going to go to the tub. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's great. Or do we like it? I don't know. Do we like a pattern? I don't know. I'm gonna pause this. I can. Okay, we're gonna cut. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. And I'm in the shower. Good. Don't you ever just in the shower and you just cross your arms, because whether if it's cold or warm, that you're just like, yeah, I have to start my day. How do I want to start my day? I think for a lot of the reasons that, I'm starting this off, that you are on top of I can't really, okay, I'm not gonna lie, my timer on my phone started, and I had to get back out, the shower. It's very annoying. I should turn off my timer, but I didn't. I just pushed it away. I think right now, currently, again, you're on top of if I had to reiterate stuff, that I don't know what to expect from me, or to think too much of it. I think in the morning, I think my experience right now, except my experience right now, is filming. I don't think it's weird, personally for me, but I think it's been difficult knowing that you don't have any form of like tripod or whatever to film stuff. I only have an iPad and an iPhone, and it's sort of very experimental in a way. I feel like a lot of YouTubers over time are like, man, I want to start a new channel, it's fun. Or I want to take a break and work on this one channel just to enjoy things. I don't think those two are related, but they're in a topic. Sometimes I just want to stay in the shower. And that's real. I think there's I would say I don't typically sit down. I only sit down when I feel stressed or down. Which I'm not right now, I'm just doing this for artistic purposes. I'm like, wow, I don't see this shot much often. I wonder why. That's why it's something that I can hide a little bit. And be like, oh. And then this door is can open. Ooh, more frames. I really have low expectations on all of this. But with those low expectations, I want to express myself just naturally, almost. And I think there's also a point of sentence talk. I'm ranting. feel like there's a point when you try to make things cinematic. Like I'm also just a causer to start off making a video. Is that I don't know why I'm trying to become in the niche of like I want to just do it in a moment. Like, I'm not gonna really edit it. I'm not gonna edit this video so hard. I'm just probably just gonna do splash clips or transition clips, audio. Whenever I'm talking with audio, I'm not even gonna use a mic. I'm just gonna use some natural ambient. Everyone starts from somewhere, and this is my start. And right now, I don't feel anxious. I'll say when I film things. It just, I think in the beginning when I started filming things, it almost felt like very project. Like, oh, I have to get this shot, I have to get this shot. But now it just feels like yes, I got to do things. Because there were other shots beforehand when I wanted to plan out. Maybe I'll put them here as like over commentary that I didn't, it felt weird. Because I'm like, okay, I want to either just like start off by sleeping in my bed, or I start off with looking out the heater, the sound of the heater, and I just want to really emphasize a lot of this like ambience over music. Because I feel like you don't listen to music at the start of your day. Some people do probably. Good for you. But I'm just also a person who doesn't want to feel like that, hey, I need to put music on work. I'm that person though. Or to get things done, I need to have something up in the background. So this is not what I typically do. I probably put like on music in the background, but right now I'm just listening. So, okay, I don't want to waste my water bill. I've already probably did, so I'm gonna get it up. Okay. Whoop, spin around. Whoop. And just a cold, just a coldness. One jams off. Okay. Boom, baby. I'm naked underneath. I don't know. You don't need to know. Okay, we're gonna take it to the next. Oh yeah, I wanted to do this where I sort of just like move the camera almost like. Okay. That's not how easily, but I want to just sort of like, hey, listen. I don't know what I want to transition to. I'll try something. I'm gonna spin my phone. Spin my phone. I'm kidding. I'm not even recording. Okay. Spin my phone around. Spin. Can I? What happens if I close this door? Does this feel real? Spin my phone around. Spin. Spin. Spin my phone around. Spin. And then I have under dialogue. It's like, and this is when I realized this was the intro. Like, what the... Okay. Spin. 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 That took I'm currently editing this video, and it's currently at 14 minutes 19 seconds, like 19.5 seconds. That's not your average YouTube videos, like, you know. I don't know if I should apply my. I think it's very impressive that people can compress information that way, but I should also start a conversation being like, who am I? Why have you clicked on this video? Why have you put this on the background or whatnot? Or you've already exited the video and this is just me talking to a few people, which is alright. I think the whole thing of it all is that I don't only want to be a YouTuber or a content creator like everyone else on here. Heck, I'm using iMovie. I don't know if you can see. I'm using iMovie to edit all of this, and I don't know if I can. Personally, I'm playing with my ignorance right now for this episode. I don't know why I said this video. But yeah, I'm gonna honestly start bare bones because I want a visual layout of like, okay, how does someone do this? How does someone talk for this long? But I don't want to talk too long to become an hour. But the point is, I don't just want to be like a YouTuber or content creator. I want to be like someone who can be comfortable talking. I think my experience, for me, I currently have done projects with games, whether if it is a board game or like an Unreal Engine game, and I've always been the lead, if you will. But I'm also someone who doesn't talk a lot. And I'm not the type of introvert who doesn't want to be seen or sort of just wants to just go along with life now. I think for this new year, I definitely want to push a lot of myself who is like wants to be out there almost, but it's like, how do I want to be out there? Because I also typically just stay inside, as you can't tell already. Nor to say that I will really want to do this long term. And I think the biggest thing that really, for me, wanted to start off doing this is that I have an interest in photography when I was a teenager, and as well I've done films over summer for summer classes when I was in high school. I have a slight interest in that, but I always was driven towards like the engineering route, which is not bad, but you know, you don't get a lot to yourself to choose until graduation for me, that I wanted to be an artist. And I think that's been driven in me for so much, or if not the longest time in my life that I can recall. And I've dealt with kids, like for like summer program. I've done a lot, you know. But at the same time, what is a lot? I think a lot to me is currently right now is that I feel comfortable just talking. And typically I do rant like this amount, like, or longer. So I want to limit myself in some occasions, because I know probably people will be bored about it, but I sort of want to change up the style that I watch from other YouTube videos, not just to make it long form, but I almost want to just make a video as if I am making a video for a friend, or I'm not jam packing every interest, but I also at the same time I understand that when you try and you have to get the information in there because people want to see the effort into it. But for this first episode, again, my first attempt to make a video, at least in the aesthetic that I want to portray, whether if it's so much so cinematic or not cinematic at all. Definitely gonna buy a tripod. See, this is a learning experience for me, and I'm like, I could buy everything, but then at the same time, what do I have to? Am I gonna use it? You know, I don't know. I plan to have like videos overlaid on this, and I tried it with like Procreate Dreams. This was planned to be on Procreate Dreams software, but it kept glitching, and I looked it up, and it was because of like 4K resolution or like high resolution videos make it flicker, and it's all right with like 4K or like lower resolution videos. I have high production, but no, yeah. Back to just talking to friends. So I'm gonna start. I have a plan. I'm gonna bring it up right now. I roughed it out yesterday. Or I didn't rough it out yesterday, I actually roughed it out a few days ago. But this is literally my plan to rewrite YouTube. What? No, to test this and stick with it. But at the same time, if it fails, obviously, and there's not a lot of traction, that's alright. At least I did something. And I think when you do a project, or if you join any group thing, at least you've done it at the end of the day. And I'm doing this on my own. Like, I think that's also like a thing to keep in mind. So I filmed videos when I was a child, but now I'm sort of just like doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm making this consistent. 3, 2, 1. Hello, we're back. This is a segment that I want to create, just a little brief on it. I want to make, I'm used to making slides, but I think what I want to say, I'm messing up already. I like discussion, and slides, I don't typically do slides. I only do slides for school, but I am decent enough to be like, hey, I want to share something or share some idea. Because when it comes to a YouTube video, there is essence of something being dragged, but there's also those Easter eggs or just little treats of like, hey, you learned something. So I want to share something for each time I do this video, or of a That's Just Me, where I'm just like, hey, this is something you can keep in mind in the back of your head. You can take notes, you can listen to over. And when I get older, for the end of the year, when I see myself watching this video, I'm gonna be like, damn, that's crazy, that's absurd. And I'm like, yes, because those were my opinions then, and currently now, this is me. So I'm presenting how to exist. It's backwards from what I'm seeing. So how to exist where media is the norm, by someone not an expert but has experience. And then here's the date, even though I'm gonna do the thing. Especially, I want to also note that the PowerPoints that I make are made on this day. Like, after I did the recording of that transition back there, beforehand, I made this slide, just working on it and like just cranking out my brain
It's all in the day, so it helps me almost, you will see in the slides, as an exercise to just do something, exist. So you watch content, just like this. Wow. Um, I like that too. And my clicker is a wireless mouse. It is a MX Master 3.6. It's been great. Okay, next slide. I don't. But you want to make content? I don't know. Maybe you just like watching content, and that was also me for a long period of time. But I just wanna. I feel like now I should make content, just for myself. No, as much you can say now for the money. If you see statistic wise, you can do it for the money, but I think for the long term, especially, you just have to have a form of interest to it. Okay, I'm gonna continue. But honestly, it depends on the person. Like I said, if they are up for it. So I can't really force you to make content, but there's a few things in videos where you can do. You can like sort of inspire someone, or you can be like, hey, it's something in the back of the brain they can think about, or they find any interest of doing something else, but in regards, it motivate them to do something, or to comment on this video, or do like a video essay on this video and be like, oh my gosh, this is horrendous. This person's horrendous. What does this mean? He is a so-and-so political view. I don't know. Okay, so in my background, I am legit. Here's my resume. Am I really gonna read it? It depends. You can pause the video and you can read it. But I think the main focuses are these two here. It's crazy. I've been on Instagram for a decade. And that almost makes me old to feel like, yeah, I've also played Minecraft, and that's been a decade. I'm like, goddamn. And then you have like TikTok, which I'm starting, and notably so in TikTok, I've reached like 1,000, like 1,141 as of now, which is personally a goal of mine, because during these 10 years, I've always been stuck at like 500, and seeing it times two is interesting. It doesn't really get you the inf, but it's like, wow, I've done it. It's crazy. But yeah, I think for my resume here in general, it's a preface that collaboration when you get older is never gonna really change when it comes to like being a human. And from those collaborations, you have also people with different experiences who do a certain amount of something that you yourself don't know. And I think you have to see that as a positive, to be like, oh, okay, that's their failure. They went through that. Or, wow, they've found something that I never thought about before. And I think it should be almost a norm to like pick their brains about it, but at the same time, understand that if their personality, if they don't want to talk about it, that's also fine. That's why there are like a million people in this world. And as much as there are not a million people in this world who are very smart and intelligent, I think there's also people in this world who have a worth story to talk about, to inspire you to do something. Just like me, I don't know. So how to start? You're watching a video and you're like, man, I want to make content. How do I also make content? I don't know if this is also good on the thing. Personality is the first one. That's real. When it comes to like me enunciating, like I want to be myself. But at the same time, I know that not a lot of people have also the experience of talking to a camera, or they just like to just turn off their brain to like watch a video and just want something in the background, or to feel like they just fill the empty void of things. But I think a good personality would be someone who is, considerate in what they say, but also vocally like apparent to be like, hey, this is a rant. And that's enough. And also taking accountability on things if they are, or something if they get like canceled or something. I don't know. And just being transparent with your community. I didn't put community in this thing, but I want to address it here. Is that I think community is a very big thing, but I don't want to make it like an ego thing. Like, man, I want to establish a community. I'm just starting off. You know, like I think over time I'll find my community. I should learn that. But yeah, personality is something to enjoy, and I think part of personality is almost like a friendship. You know, like when you just have a conversation with someone, you're not gonna be like, I found 5,000 cars in this underground cave. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, hey, you know, sometimes in the day, when do I have to pick you up? School, or like, hey, do you need that eye appointment? Or like, hey, I found this, like, or just talking behind someone's back. I don't do that, but there's also just those people as well. But that's a personality, you know. That's at the base level. Your angle slash aim of serving content. This is very crucial thing, I would argue, when it comes to sharing something to the world. And if not this simplistic thing, like when you watch videos, you're like, here's how to crack the algorithm. Here's how to do that. I'm as much as I thought of that beforehand when I was watching videos, like I need to crack the algorithm. When I not done anything about cracking the algorithm, I'm just watching videos about cracking the algorithm. I think at the baseline of it, you have to just understand that you want to make it educational in the long term, entertaining in the long term, or experimental in the long term. And for all three, if you can make that, that's great. I'm trying that. I don't know. But if you want to also just go into the category of educational, like a crash course, or if you want to make it entertaining, almost like a Ryan Trahan video, or explosively so like a Mr. Beast video, or Kurzgesagt, like educational, that's also another one. Or if you like experimental, where you're just like trying things. If you're like I don't even know. I'm not even gonna say like Mark Rober, but I don't know why I'm not saying a Mark Rober. Like experimenting with like a video, like casing that, like vlogging. There you go. Or Kurt Kerwin. Is that his name? I don't know. I could look this up, but I'm recording on my phone. That you just like talk about things in a way where you're just, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of substance to it, but over time when you talk about something, when you ramble about something, you have something to get out of it almost, typically. And then the last one is manifesting the drive. So what I mean by manifesting the drive is that enjoy what you make and in the process hate it. It's always about you, the individual. What I mean by that is, you know, no one really likes the process. You know, let's say if you say you like the process, you like the experience of it. When you're in the moment, when you're in the deep flow state, you're in it. But it's always initially you're not really gonna be in it, you know. Like something has to ignite in you to do it. And it's almost, I feel like for humans overall, I think when we hone in on something for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes, then we're in it and we just want to concentrate on it because we're like singular beings who also want to socialize, and that's a crazy thing to say, where you want to focus on something but you also want to tell someone about something for someone to be like, hey, that's a really cool idea, or hey, I really hate your idea, and like but yeah, so how do you manifest that drive? You know, it's a lot to do with just like, what do you find your best thing to like find out is what can you do in a week, or what do you do in a week? You know, like, do you just lay around? Like, if you want to just improve on that, sure. But it also comes with like your interests or hobbies, because life over time, you're going to either, weirdly enough, replace people who you've enjoyed for so long to do something, or you either help in a broader terms, like in the industry or like traditional jobs, and where you either help cook, or you do like financial stuff, or you help create buildings, or you do math, science, English, composition, like what all the things, all the niches. So just find that for yourself, and I think that's what you have to start with doing that. And then the essentials to start making content like this is just you just need a camera or just anything that can record. And then you also, I didn't mention that you also need like to figure out the media platform that you want to do. I personally say YouTube. That's why I'm starting in YouTube. But there's also, again, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X. I personally am not on X. I used to be, but I didn't really post anything. It was just more or less, I have an account for it. And then it's like, okay. And then a life. That's right. And I think this is a very broad question, a broad point, to say the least. But for me anyways, what defines life for me is that I typically talk to myself a lot, and I think that should be the norm. Like talking to yourself, it helps you almost develop a personality faster in a way. But don't be like crazy talk to yourself. There is crazy talk to yourself, but when you like socialize with someone or when you're alone, when you live on your own, I would say it's like it's fine to like talk it out. I'm not even gonna say the equivalence to therapy, to that matter of like you don't need therapy, you just talk it out yourself. Personally, I believe that. And over time, since I'm an emotional person who works through the things on their own, that helped me a lot. But life in general is crazy, you know. And later on, I mentioned what life is like. But for right now, yeah, just if you have a conversation, a rant, or a story to tell, if anything, everyone's going to have an opinion on it. And don't fret that people have opinions on it. Just know that you can make another video addressing it, or you can but do it accordingly. You know, don't do it with a ukulele. Kidding. What? Oh, okay. Time management. Okay, factors that which maybe stall you to do things. Where it could be like time management or psychological warfare. To me, those are the things from like 10 years of being on a media. Like Instagram is like the longest I've been, close to YouTube and then TikTok or whatever. But the time management of it all is real. And I think when I've worked with people with projects, that was the biggest scope in mind when it came to working out something. It's like, what is the one flaw that your team can improve on? Time management. When I've learned, this is just rant now, when I've learned from trying to just be a lead or have the experience of a lead, I see in myself that I have to almost be transparent with everything, you know. I think there is some ignorance that like you can say like, oh, we're doing really good, but absolutely you're doing trash like in statistics or analytics or whatever with like your team, and it's like we're doing good, keep doing the job. Like that's fine, but in all honesty, it's like I think the community that you build behind the staff or a group of people, like acknowledging that they're also human and acknowledging that they have lives in their hands, but also at the same time being like, you signed up for this, please work on your part. I can give you this amount of time, but please do your due diligence on that. That's my menthos or pathos, I don't know, like my ideology in if I was a CEO or how I lead is that I want to be transparent with everyone, and I believe in the community aspect that, man, if I do something wrong or if I address something wrong, I wanted to address the community. It's like, how can I fix that? How can I do that? Because I want to improve. I want to be better. I want to do the best of my ability to help you do something, but as well help me become better as well. Because it's like sticking paper and glue together. You know, it's like it can tear back or it can go back. I don't know. That was an analogy. Okay, let's go back to here. Doom scrolling, sludge content. You were the viewer. You're watching this. I don't know how many videos you watch. You can comment down below how many videos you watch in the time being or in span being. But that's, I think, the mental health growing in our generation is doom scrolling and such content, whether you're pushing it out for the views, for the money, for the attention. But I feel like there has to be a precedent in that we want our generation to do something. We don't want our generation to just keep viewing content. And I'm talking about more of the younger generation than the older generation, because we are almost soliciting the idea of, hey, this is very interesting, this is very cool, this is very cool, and short valuing or shortening the attention spans. And I think there should be a general emphasis on expanding it to some extent, obviously. But I'm an advocate for long attention spans. I am a product of short span. Extreme procrastinator, keeping it to the last minute. I hate that I've experimented, even through college, that I do stuff last minute. It's a thrill, it's a drug, but I don't want to keep doing it. I want to try to do a thing. I call myself the schedule person. But later on, I'm just okay, I just have a board on the screen. So I want to hold myself accountable to that when I do schedules and boards. So that's also why I do this video. It's almost an accountability thing. Because if I watch it again, I'm gonna feel let down. Addictions, porn, drugs, gambling, all the trifecta. There probably is more. There's honestly more. That's why I put etc. But those are the main things that mainstream wise. I think addictions also could be these ones, doom scrolling, extreme content. But in general, this is what stops a lot of people from pursuing what they want to do in life. Or it could just be external situations where it could be the rent is too high and they can't afford it anymore. But that's not addiction. I think that's something else entirely. It should be another category of just external factors. I didn't add that. See, I'm improving as I go. Where you're just going through life, and it throws a curveball at you, and you're oh my gosh, I can't do this. Oh no, I want to go back. Wait, I'm gonna go back. Can I go back? Wait. Oh, at scroll wheel. Okay. Oh yeah. I think it's inevitable you will find these three, at least one of the three. But I assure you, try not to make it consume your life. If you're in it right now, I'm just a voice of reason to you. I'm not the expert at trying to get you out of this, but just know that it's better off that if you just try to live life to some extent of loosening that addiction. That's enough for me. You don't have to go cold meat on it or dead fish. I don't know the expression, but yeah, I think if you try to do something, I think you get more energy out of pursuing something other than that, because it drains your energy almost, or it warps your brain in a way where you don't want to do anything else. Single tasker, you have those people who have can only do one thing. I've said it in my background where I'm okay, I like to just work with people. I'm an introvert who likes to just work, but to the extent of I just zone in, and it's if someone talks to me, I'm okay, then I'm out of it. I'm and I hate that. I want to improve on that. So that's one thing I want to do. But yeah, I think the biggest worrisome is spreading yourself thin. I say that to myself. I'm I don't want to spread myself thin. That's why for this year, especially, I just want to work on just two things, TikTok and YouTube, and also Instagram. Sorry, 3 things. And those are just my main things for a year. Because I also do college, which, I'm already spreading myself thin, but enough to be I can handle it. I think that's one thing in the factors that can heal it is figuring out in a month, tests in a month. It doesn't have to be a whole year, just a month is enough. It's 3 weeks or a month of figuring out what can you manage in your time. And then psychological warfare, obviously criticism, I mentioned it. This is a 22-minute video already, so I'm just gonna just say criticism. You can read that. boils down to a conversation, not minding shattering people. Yeah, okay, wait, I'm gonna address this. I'm gonna address all of this. I'm sorry this is long. For mine, like, criticism when you're online, I feel like at the early age of YouTube is almost like an attack. And it's like, to account someone for like just to say something is a lot when it comes to you becoming a bigger platform. I arguably say that is true when you see that in an audience perspective. Is that like, why aren't you addressing? Why aren't you accountable? Which I enjoy seeing sometimes. Like, yeah, they should be accountable for that. I did not know that. Thank you for bringing awareness on that. I think there's also a point where in the creator side, I'm not going to believe it for every creator, but you know, they have a lot of time in their hands to multitask, and they're spreading themselves thin, like hearing someone just out. So I think that's also something to consider when it comes to that, but I don't want to just side them on that with criticism. But for general criticism, I think it's just a conversation, you know, like this right now. Like, you can critique how I talk, you can critique that you want videos to be shorter, and then I can argue, yeah, I want them shorter, or yeah, I want them longer. Let's make this 10 hours, baby. I'm not really gonna restrict how long this video is. It's more so just like, if this was long and it only gets 2 views, that's enough for me to say I changed 2 people's lives for the 10 seconds out of the 10 hours. Okay, self-doubt or anxiety. I think nowadays for media, as much as we have like people who are younger who just like do like a dance, or if they are just with their phone flipping it around with a popular music and they're just, it goes viral or something. I think there is like a point in which, you know, when you almost do like the post or upload, you feel the guttural feeling, or when you watch like a friend do something, and you don't typically talk to them, but like you watch them do something, and it's almost like, to me at least, it makes me get like, oh my gosh, it's them. I know them. They're popular. They're like making content as well. Like, you really enjoy it, or you get a change of perspective on it. I think for the individual who's making the content, it's always like a checks and balance to themselves of, hey, am I doing the right thing, or am I in the long term financially going to gain anything about it, or am I going to give a lot for myself to do something? I don't know. But in the moment, like whenever I record these things, I feel comfortable in the moment right now. But when we go to the next segment or in between segments, I feel anxiety to be like, I don't know how to frame this. I don't know how to give a lot to this. So for the self-doubt and anxiety part, I think it's a lot to your head, especially for projects. I think for the lead role, it's almost as if you have to plan out everything, or you can assign someone else to plan it for you. But I'm the person who almost takes initiative into charge, because, you know, I'm also the person who, if no one's raising their hand, I will raise my hand. And like, I'm not usually the first person to do it, because I almost feel like I want people who are also quiet to do it, but at the same time, you have to think that, man, you're also a quiet person, so they're probably also thinking the same thing that you're doing. Okay, that was the rant. Overwhelmed. Fog glasses, followers, views, subs, algorithm, At the end of the day, and at the start, you're just posting a video and sharing it on a mainstream level, which obviously I've talked about. It's just in general that a lot of more people are going to see it, or it's not going to be pushed out that much. And I think that's okay. I think there is points over time and years that, you know, it's okay to have just 3K, or it's okay to see 3-digit numbers of like 127,000 in like from like 9 years ago, or you just see a video that has 3 views and it was a few days ago. And I personally, for me, I think I find it interesting I'm sorry I'm ranting, but this is how it is, for social media to be like, you know, where for Instagram, for instance, I want to like something, or I like a post. I feel like I wish it should be pushed out as like, when you see something, it almost forces you to say, do you like this post or do you not like this post? And it's like, okay, you don't like it or you like it. Because I have an artist account, and it's almost like I see people view it, but then I'm like, okay, it's not there's no likes on it. So I'm like, goddamn. Or it comes from like a story, like I have like a lot of people views on it, so I associate that as like those are my likes. Those are people like it. They looked at it and they liked it, I guess, or they decided they want to click on it. But I think that's the conscious awareness right now in this generation or the 21st century, obviously, is that whatever you post, be conscious, be aware of it. But at the same time, don't feel like you have to be overstimulated to be like, I gotta make the perfect video. I think it's enough to be like, there are enough people in the world who want to make perfect videos. Please try to attempt a video so then at most someone can see it and also be inspired to do it, or you can change the mind of people who are also big creators to do something about it. I don't know, and hopefully they do it, whether it means a lot to you or not when you speak about it. And honestly, it doesn't have to be consistent, when you post in the day but it ends with you executing an idea. No, I have a lot of things I need to do. I have to do laundry, I have to do clean my dishes, but I'm doing this right now. Why? Because I feel like it's equally important to give something out there, and it's something for me personally, like selfishly enough, that I want to just tell people like, hey, I watch videos too, and I want to also preface like this is a predicament that when I watch videos I feel this, and probably out there someone else feels the same. So yeah, consistency. I've done for art a drawing a day and an animation a day. Never really picked like how long I do them, but I did them each day and I wanted to post them. And honestly, so I never really did any sketches out of that. Like sketches meaning I've never personally, without posting stuff, drawn or animated on my free time. It was always like that thing and then boom. Because I always, personally for me, put the importance of doing tasks than free time, which I hate myself. But we digress. Creating a habit. This is my call to action to you. What are your thoughts in the comments on how to create habits? Obviously, there are a lot of videos on this. And obviously, people will not probably watch those videos. But if you put a video here and people watch this video and want to look at the comments and be like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I want to create a habit. Or just anything saying, you were the first comment. I don't know. That would be great. Because you usually have to ask yourself, why do I hate doing or creating conscious habits? And I think that's, you have your unconscious habits and you have your conscious habits. Conscious habits are almost like to-do lists, or I'm gonna do this. When yesterday you said that, but then in the morning when you wake up, you're like, oh, I don't wanna do this anymore. But for success, for anywhere you go, these, I would say, the main priorities that almost feel like forgotten each day when I live, and I just need the reminders to be like, yeah, great. So, besides paying money or living on your own, or having to worry about expenses, having to worry about money, you gotta manifest that. But these are the three things just to live life, eat, sleep, and exercise. You can't work if you're tired, or if you feel sluggish, or you feel like you can't do much of anything. It's very dropping. Dropping is not the word. It's very annoying, and it consumes your brain. It almost is an identity to you to feel like, yeah, it's okay to be that. And I think that comes with like depression, and it's like, go outside. I found that just going outside is enough. Probably just do it in the morning. If anything, for a daily routine I want to start is I go outside, and even if it's cold, or even if it's just for 20 minutes, go outside. That's the best inspiration when it came to just drawing or doing an animation. I just go outside, and it almost invigorates me because I watch, honestly, a little rant again, of like the Mr. Beast video of like him being in isolation for 7 days, and seeing that be like, wow, people go crazy when they're just isolated in that format, and you have to actually go outside. Or almost most of his videos, besides like the rankings of different prices of different things. They're like, man, I would want just not cancel that. Is that, man, people really want to exist or like, experience something, or we are meant to experience things that to make us sane, than insane to not experience anything. So I would do that. I would advise to do that. Go outside. Even if you are outside, good job. I will say that. Applause to you. But also, if you're not outside, or if you're unable, I can't consider everything, but I'm trying to consider now, you know, like if you're unable to go outside, for any form or reason, then I would say, maybe try and enjoy this video. And I don't know. We continue, because the next point is life is a project of mirrors. What I mentioned before, that life is like that. So be conscious of how you collaborate with, as you reflect your mannerisms onto them, and as well the other way around. And I think that's the essence of life for a human to be, is that, you know, I probably don't know the answer to not going outside. Maybe if you have internet, if you have friends, talk to them on Discord about it, or talk to them about this video. Or if you don't have friends, see, then I have to consider that. I can be your friend. That's cool. I'm open to that. But at the end, here's a little quote. Failure is not the end, but a statistic to add to your personal learning curve. I feel like nowadays is almost, I think a good example is asking a question. Or when you're in school, if you're majority of the time that person who doesn't answer a question, or raise your hand. It's like, the teacher's like, man, do you have any questions about anything? And as much as it's not in the moment, but then later on you have a question, but you don't want to. Be afraid to make mistakes. No controversy there. Okay. I think to the extent to like, there are levels of failures, you know. Obviously don't do anything too drastic to your own personal life that can jeopardize it, you know. Obviously, you know, like, I don't know, I don't want to get striked. Or to the point where like there's those extremes, and then there's like the end extremes of like performance, you know, like, can you raise your hand and ask a question and not be afraid to do so? Like, those are like, yes. So another little rant. I find myself often, especially for younger people, it's that question of, or that hard-hitting question of, where do you see yourself in 10 years, and how to find your it thing? You know, this is my answer. There probably is other answers like in Quora or like in Reddit, I don't know, but here's mine. Here's my little take. You can dissect it if you want. What can you tolerate being, or will or want to spend your time doing monotonously each day? This part is kind of confusing, even to be, but I think the point is that for the rest of your life, you're gonna probably, if you manifest it that in a way, enjoy it, have the main character of your life, or depression, or isolation. I'm going down a deep rabbit hole. Or maybe you build a community behind it, and those communities have those values. I almost preface it enough that, you know, everyone doesn't want to be president, but everyone wants to be a cult leader. You know, no one's seeking out to be president, everyone wants to be a cult leader. That, you know, we want to develop our own ideologies almost, as much as we have like aside with us, like religions, the peers around us, all of that. We have to learn to tolerate it. because we're existing right now to do something, whether it's watching this video, I keep prefacing that, I'm sorry, or doing something in the background while you're listening to this because you find this interesting, or you know, at the essence of it, I just want to have a conversation with someone. And I typically don't have conversations with anyone because for me personally, I'm too overly analytical in saying stuff to people just randomly because of just how I hold myself to things, or it's just a question of, man, I don't know how to like convey myself or show myself to someone if I'm just opening up to someone, or for the longest time I'm with other people around me, whether if it's like family or just like people who I extremely have inspiration or inspire or like fan boy over. I'm just like, oh, I gotta stay serious on that. But there's also failures in times when you like fail like a test or whatnot, or you try. I know this is dragging on for so long, but I think tolerating it monotonously each day, and you don't have to record it. It's more or less figuring out the will and want to do something, or to say that you like this. Try it out for a week. Try it out for a day. Try it out for a month. Life is to try, but it's also a project full of mirrors where everyone else is it's like a big game of multiplayer, and you are just seeing how other people react, and maybe you will also react that same way. Or maybe you want to go away from that path when you've experienced it for so many times, like Groundhog's Day, and like, okay, I want to do something different. That in and of itself is like, this is, yeah, I've defined what life is. It's almost like best analogy ever. Yeah. Monotonously is also a good word because I think I say a lot, you know, in my own journals or diaries I write down is that you wake up and then you're like, you hate your day or you're not into it in the day. And I think that is valid to say that's okay, because later on in the day something will spark to make you happy, or if it doesn't, then probably the next day. And I think that's a hope that we all have to face in ourselves, to say that yes, this is something we have to consider. Oh, and then another little rant. I'm making these little rants. I have a lot of segments going through, and I think this is going to become an hour, so I hate that. But here's another thing. What boils down is the buzzword experience. I hate this because it's sort of the idea that when you get into like later down in life, like for younger people here, like very like kids or teenagers here that don't know, like you need experience for like a job or like a company. I feel like nowadays for like especially YouTube or just having any sort of platform that you convey yourself for, it's almost a portfolio for yourself to do. Not to say that you have to not create portfolios like the traditional portfolios. I think it's a good way to like understand how far you've come, or like the knowledge that you have bring up for yourself like after high school or during high school. It's, I think, a point where you have, let's say you have to write an essay to go to a college, and it's like, what is your unique experience like? And it's like, majority I would say, besides like the very, I'm not even gonna like diss on the people who have like those experiences of like very harsh conditions or disabilities, or just their identity overall, or family issues, or their sacrifices. Like those are all valid. I honestly, personally for me, I have not been through them, besides like breaking a finger from helping my dad doing something. But otherwise, I think, you know, I don't have a lot of those experiences I can really attach myself towards them. It's one of those special experiences where it's like, yeah, you can talk about it, I'm not going to really judge it. But for me, when I get into the point of like, how do I write my experiences, I'm sort of like bland with that idea. So I feel like it should be okay to just have a journal entry. Like, we don't always have to be the main character of a story, you know, because monotonously every day we're just existing or trying to develop our main character energy, and then just getting out of your shell, which is, I think, a lot that is feels like it's missed when it comes to going outside or like typically going outside like for a few times. You're not someone who likes to go outside, and you just almost be overstimulated and just like looking around, just like, I don't want to look at you, I don't, oh, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that. And I think that's okay, because that's where everyone starts. It's very unfamiliar, it's almost mechanism like a fight or flight constantly, but as you develop the familiarity between something, it almost feels normal. And I think that's something to say for an experience, is that that's enough to be an experience. But there's also great experiences in which you go into like traditional, when you do like a summer program. Like I've done a summer program just to teach kids, or just not even teach kids, but just like help out with like giving out to teachers supplies, watching over the kids. I think I know for me personally, I'm that type of person who likes to see in people like how they act and react, and how I can almost like facilitate that, not in a weird controlling 1984 way, but in a way where I'm just like, okay, they've not experienced it before. Sure, here is your lunchbox or juice box. Like, you want me to open this? Sure, I'll open it for you. Like almost that way, and almost like, okay, here's the food. Like, how's your teacher? Is your teacher good? Like, helping them open up their shell into doing something that they want to do. Yeah, and that's it. This took like 43 minutes, and I can't wait for the other segments that I try to do that same equivalent. It's gonna be an hour. Okay, here's another cut. Okay, next segment. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I just want to point out, this is my it's a lamp. We got the 2 tape, we got the grid, and yeah, that's it. Okay. As you saw from the setup, this is how we're working. I'm no binging with Babish. Or just any DIY person who's just like, oh my gosh, my hands are crazy. Okay, besides that, I'm here to just talk about, this is another segment that I just want to address, and it's almost animation process. I like a good animation process. You probably see my video on a very bare bones animation called Steamboat Willie. But also to address, I just want to get it out there that I am, very accountable for not posting shorts on here. And if not, I'm very grateful that if not, most of my subscribers are from shorts that watch my every 365-day video. So shout out to you if you're watching this video. And I don't want to take that for granted. I'll say that especially I am just an oriented person who's very busy and singular minded. And I always forget that I also have other things I want to plan, and I want to make that better for this year. So that way I just threw something out there, and I just want to talk about it. I will also post the other ones, and I don't expect a lot of views. And that was the whole plan. Like when I did like an animation each day, as much as high hopes to get views or likes, I wanted to push content out there just for my sake, that like I can do this, but I failed to do so posting. But I've done it in the background like innately, but it's always the posting that really hurt the challenge. So I failed the challenge, but at the same time I also developed the ability to animate each day and draw each day on their own. So I think that's a habit I like to say I won by, at least. But I digress. The animation that I posted on Friday was the Steamboat Willie dancing. Because I don't know, as you know, Steamboat Willie is public domain. A lot of that is a thing. So I will also start off by saying I'm new to Procreate Dreams. I've animated in just regular Procreate, which I'll make a separate video on how I did all that for 365 days. I feel like it should not be in a 2-hour long video, but this is a segment just strictly on Procreate Dreams. And I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna show my ignorance that I have not watched a lot of Procreate Dream videos. I just went hands-on, and the only thing I searched up were how to rotate the thing and how to rotate objects when you draw and where the onion skin is, because it was that's one thing I said terribly. I've done also other projects, as you can tell. This was for a game project that I did. It was about a little witch girl in a 3D environment, but now in Procreate Dreams I did it in a 2D environment. If you're curious how I did it, it was in Unreal Engine, and I used Paper ZD as a plugin. Is it this one? Nope, it's not this one. Going back. I don't know how to call these buttons, and I like to think about this as just like an ignorance level tutorial. So I will not be an expert in saying what things are, but I have some conscious awareness of what things are. Like, I'm not gonna say this is the tab, or this is specifically this button's name to get out of something, but I have to find the Steamboat Willie video, so you might, nope, not that one. Oh no. Eat? This one? No. Wait, is it this one? Steamboat Willie? Yes. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna lower the volume. This one? No, it's not that one. I've also been practicing on Procreate Dreams just editing with Reels for Instagram. So that's what I've also been practicing on with Procreate Dreams. It doesn't have to be Procreate Dreams. I would do iMovie, but again, iMovie has like a continuous thing. I should stop rambling. Okay, so for this animation of Steamboat Willie, we can play it out first. I muted it because whenever you drag this, just really quick, here's a little tidbit. That's what it sounds like. You know, right? It's crazy. I'm just gonna mute it, and we're just gonna play through it just right now, just so you can see it and see the vision behind this. Here you go. Okay, so that's it, you know. What I learned in animation, yeah, crazy. If anything, this is my first time trying to give a tutorial about something that I did, and I feel like I'm almost certified to say it, but this is like my first time doing a video about it because I can talk about it, but I also need to iterate some things about it. I think the first thing that you have to know in Procreate Dreams is that there is these black lines, if you can see them. I don't know if you can see them. There's like black rows. Depending on the row, you can put a video, or you can put a drawing on it, or a picture by doing this plus right here. You can add a photo, video, text. You can even track your things. I have never touched a track. And there's also files in which probably you can like export something if it's not on your iPad. This is my iPad 11 Pro. For this button right here, you get to draw. So you see the brush icon, you see the smear, and then you have the erase tool, and then you get to see your layers. Since there's no like drawing layer that's very active, that's why it's saying that you cannot paint. And this is your color. Standard, if you know what Procreate looks like, it's almost the same format. And over here is just your brush size, and over here is your opacity. This is the timeline tool. Very weird, I'm limited in knowledge on it, but essentially when you have or like an Apple Pen or like a finger, you can draw this little Disney, perfect. But when you click on this, it shows a pink outline, and that almost is your select tool to grab things, and you can drag them, you can group them. I think my issue here are just some pet peeves of mine when it comes to Procreate Dreams that I wish were a thing, is that you can flip them, you can flip a group. This is just, I don't know, it's just to me. And it almost reverses each frame that is in that group as well when you flip it. That would be faster in a way where, especially for this is a looped animation. Specifically, when you see like the numbers here, it's each frame that I do. If you're familiar with my short no, 365 days of just posting like shorts content. And I did that because it's mostly, to be perfectly honest, I never know like how long frames take or how many frames are typically done to make an animation. So I think people who watch can be like consciously aware of like, hey, this took 54 frames, but not actually 54 frames, because this is simply just like a flipped version of it. In total, it was like 54 frames, but divide that, and then that's essentially how many it took. Like, I think like 20-ish, like 20, something. I don't know. I could ask Google, but I'm not. I'll just do the rundown of this. This button right here is when you record. So whenever you drag something, it will record it in real time, like movement. It's almost rigging, if you know what rigging is, where you just move a certain object and it moves across the page. Let's say if I took my initials here, right, and I press a circle and I drag it. I don't know if you can see that red line. That is animating in real time the movement. So if I play that again, you get to see it moving as a result, which is kind of cool. But you got to be very conscious and aware of that it also moves. Let's say if there was another drawing at the end here, it also moves that. So be aware of that. And to note here, yeah, they're labeled as tabs. You have your drawing, and you have your group, and then you have your drawings and your groups. And I should start talking about how I did it, actually. So for each group, there is another group with each drawing. It's almost like a family. So you have your parents, like a family tree. You have your parents, and then you have your children. Like these are the children for each parent. And to me, at least, I don't know specifically how many groups you can put within something. I believe it's 2. I could be wrong. But there's also the idea that you can also put groups above groups. Like right here, it's hidden because I turned it off. You can turn off drawings and turn on drawings. As you can see on this side here, it's on, now it's off. So I don't know the limit. I have not tested the limit personally. Then you also have, in general, this red line right here. I'm gonna finally break it down, finally. Sorry, it's so scuffed. I'll get better over time, I know it. This line right here is the background. It's just one line of drawing across 11 seconds of animation. And personally for me, I draw with different colors just to associate, hey, this is the steering wheel. I planned on animating this, but then I'm like, okay, I need to post something. And then you have the life preserver there, and them having eyes, I it's weird because he's doing the orange justice, just cause. If anything, I can tell you about the inspiration really quick. It was from like a Discord, and if not, again, public domain, and it was like, oh my gosh, maybe he could be do dancing, or we should all animate this, because I have friends who are also BFAs, which like are in the fine arts, the Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Animation, that do this. I'm like, okay, I'll try it out, and I just chose him dancing. Especially other inspirations. So how I started off, this is everywhere, I am sorry, is that I looked up a video, shout out to this person, I guess. I'm not saying it because it's lame, I don't know how to address it anymore. Orange Just a Dance by Roy Purdy. I just did an overlay almost and tried to do like breakdown posts. Andrew Burris. You can see here. Very much inspired the ideas of doing checkpoints of like your mental health and like, yeah, it makes sense. And especially for this video in particular, if you're just listening to it or you're watching the whole thing, is that thank you again for watching this video. It's not over yet. This is just a checkpoint, but it's also a good thing where you're like, get up if you're just watching this video or if you're actually doing something. Good job doing whatever you're doing right now. It's better than not doing it or just watching something, because at minimum, I feel like when you just do something while you're listening to something, that is enough. But there's also times where, you know, to be anti-video about it is that you just want to also be in the moment and either like do something away from the video and then come back to the video and be like, I'll watch it, put in your watch later. And you never watch it later. Because I wish I would watch videos later, but it's always like a few weeks out or a month in later. It's like, yeah. So I'm proud that you're alive still, or if you feel depressed, I hope your day gets better, and wherever you are, I hope that if you need to be reached out, I'm a ear you can talk to. You can just type. I will definitely comment in the comments about anything, whether you think my takes are bad or whether you are like, hey, I just want to get something out of my chest. If you want to do it privately, sure. Hopefully not scandalous, you know. I think that's the hard part as well, to think that's like you're gonna have like controversy about yourself, and I'm like, I don't want that. If anything, if I had to be very blunt, I am 20 years old, so imagine me like 10 decades like later. That's crazy. Like looking at these videos and like, do I do this for 10 decades, or I don't know, or do I meet people, you know, younger, and I don't want people who are younger to be like, oh yeah, also me, but I'm like, I want to be a friend at first face value and say, you're doing a good job, you're doing great, keep surviving, keep working on whatever you're working on, and I hope you are getting everything you can, or you're trying to achieve everything you can, and that is all right, and that is enough. And to say that, to me at least, a check-in for myself, that, you know, I think these are valid, that these are long videos, and I definitely will try to condense them more slowly, but keep them long form still, because I have college in the weekday, and that's like 5 days. So at most, I will do whatever it is I can. These are not going to be vlogs, your standard vlogs. These are just actually just like almost check-ins. It's almost like a book club, if you will. Just like, hey, you read this book? How did you feel about this book? Or like, oh, what did you learn in this week? That's what I want these videos to be like and feel like. And as well, just having a conversation at like a coffee shop, and you're just like, hey, I'm here. Look what I got for information. It's like, I got this false information about this. And it's like, oh, I got this really cool article about, I don't know, anything that you're interested in. So I'm gonna end it here. 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is enough. 3 minutes is enough. I don't know. But I will see you in the next segment. For however long this video is at this point, you know, there's a vibe in which you are like, yeah, I'm already in the flow state. This is my flow state. So currently, this next segment is called Wheel of Content, where it's almost an exercise for myself to do something or practice something that I'm really interested in, and it's almost an exercise for you to actually like see like, oh, this is a cool exercise, maybe I want to try this. So I'm just going on Wheel of Names and just in real time, I'm going to just figure out what I like to enjoy and write them out. And then I have this whiteboard on the side, and whatever the thing that it spins on, from spin the wheel, I'm going to make and do. So a lot of the times I actually enjoy like storyboarding. So I'll do probably a storyboarding segment where I just create like a storyboard. But then there's also like the aspect of like a skit, like doing skits, just like acting it out. And I also have it on my board. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back for a second. Just wait. On paper. On paper. Wherever it is. Oh wait, it's Nope, it's not it. Is it? Yes. No. 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 So this no. No. Okay, I give up on finding the paper. But essentially, it was a paper of ideas, and I lost it, so I have to actually go riff off this thing. Okay, storyboarding, skits. I don't even know what else. See, that's why I'm like, okay, let me think. Was there one just like drawing? Well, I don't want to do a drawing one. I do actually want to do like okay, I'll come back. I'll come right back. I'll also small blank because I don't want to make this longer than it is. 3, 2, 1. Wow, I found it. Where crazy? Oh, it was in a bag. There was another one. It seems like make a card game. Oh yeah, game mechanics. I'm really into game mechanics. I love that. And then there was also storyboard time. Your random story you're on. Minutes. 2 total each one. I think that's it. Those are the 3. Oh, making music. No, I wouldn't do that. Well, that's I'm saying that for the end. I think these are all it. Storyboarding, skits, a card game. Like story time, I just do like a story. I don't. I'm just gonna keep it as activities. I'll do that. Okay, I'm gonna spin this wheel. Okay. Boop. Spin the wheel. I guess I'll do the. Yeah, I'll do the one that's. Oh, game mechanics. Okay. Wow! Card game mechanics. Awesome. So on. Actually, that is my card game up there that I worked with people and I really enjoyed, and I did a lot. I was also lead on that. It was really great, actually. But for the most part, I'm my blanket. I will write on this board. These are my passions. Oh, I could also, for future reference, I also want to like put down like art tips. Just a helpful art tip, like a art tip class tutorial. You know what? Just for fun, I'll do it again. Okay. I'll do 2 segments for this first episode. If it shows up, I don't know. Storyboarding. Okay, I can do both. So storyboarding and card game mechanics. Ew. Gross. I don't know if this is good. This is good. See, this is me. Me in real time. Actually, like adjusting. Like, okay, do I like this? Okay. How's neat? Okay. And look at the art on my wall. Essentially, do I have like a box or something? Essentially, I just want to share something, you know, more educational content. I don't know. Card mechanics, and then storyboarding. How do you do those things? Well, first, I guess like for card mechanics, I'm gonna try to actually time myself. It's gonna be rough. I would objectively say it takes 3 to 5 minutes. So we're gonna equal it down to 4 minutes and we're gonna start a timer and I'm just gonna riff off something. It's just ideas, exercises in which I'm just like, okay, I need to hone in on something. Or writing, I can also do writing, but I'll put that in like storyboarding or so have you. But I'm gonna talk about card mechanics first. Now, okay, for a card mechanic, let's make up a game. We have 3 cards. This is on the spot. And each card is like a star, a circle, and a triangle. And the objective is that this star needs to go to an endpoint. What is your end goal? I think that's the question for like any game that you're trying to make a card game with. Specifically, I want to try to make card games that are single player, but also multiplayer. So I think that's what the whole card mechanic idea is going to be. So the star, you have to get it in the stack. But how you get it in the stack, it's sort of like Uno in a way, or I don't know what the game is, like where you like slap the card in your hand, like when you flip it over, you gotta find it. So there's a lot of circles and triangles within this deck, and you have to try to find the star. At the same time, you have the ability to pass on your turn. So you have like 3 people, and you get to pass on your turn. Each time going in a circle, trying to find the star card. And you have to, 2 minutes, and then you have to try to get the star card. And let's say there's like 3 star cards. Or it's almost like musical chairs where there's always 2 cards, and then the last card in the deck is like, oh, okay, you can't. So there should be like a certain amount, a number, if you will, of cards that should be in the deck depending on how many people are in the game. So how do you play with one person? Well, the other person can be like, you can just set it aside and be like, yes, okay, this is not the card that I think will be the star card. And then when you flip it over in for the other pile over there and the individuals to say like, okay, that was a star card. So if you flip it over and it was a star card, then you're like, damn, I lost the game against myself because of my better judgment. So it's a very mental thing, a mental challenge for this game to be a thing. I have a minute. So easily enough, I just riffed a game out. So this is you, me, and then, you know, this is the people watching this. And you're just going around in a circle, and you're like, man, you gotta find the star card in the deck of like circles and triangles. Maybe they have buffs. That's actually a cool thing. Probably you can draw 2 cards, or you have to skip your turn as a result of having a card. Or maybe you get 3 turns, or maybe you have to close your eyes and you can take other people's cards and be like, this is now my card. Or maybe there is a bluff effect where like when you have like another card, let's say it's like a hexagon, and that's not a hexagon, and it says you have to bluff if you have the star card. Like when you have the star card, you can bluff and say you don't have a star card until the very end when everyone else has a card and it's only one person left to have a card. That'll be interesting. So it adds a lot of layers to the game. Already seems like a fun game. I just thought of it out of the blue. I would have never thought of it if I didn't have really a speed amount of time on this. What would I call the game? It would be called Starstruck. Because the game is that you have to try to get it, and like if you don't, then you're struck. I don't know. That's my pitch. my pitch on that. I think I'm done. Easy. You can play that with your friends if you want. Please, if you're gonna make it your idea or somehow expand on the idea, please credit me. That's all I want. I want accreditation. Or we can collab on something, I don't know. So we did card mechanics, now let's do storyboarding. Okay. I'll do another 4 minutes on that. I think that felt really good. I think 5 minutes is too much, 3 minutes is a little iffy, but yeah, storyboarding, ready, set, go. I don't know any good story. I could talk about stories that I've already done, but I'm gonna make up stories as I go. So let's say you have your main character, right? And I think the point of storyboarding is almost like the objective keen or aspect of, hey, you have a frame. And you have a character in the frame, whether it's small, whether they're big. It's very important in storyboarding, especially to know your camera layouts or the camera frames, if you will, to frame your item or person or thing that you want to show. So typically, especially, I can just say, for example, for like my videos right now, when you saw that intro of the video, I really like the idea of the transition, a still transition of a far extreme, like wide shots, if you will. If you don't know camera shots, definitely look up videos on it. You can doom scroll that if you want. But essentially, I really enjoyed the aspect of the transition of a light, where the natural lighting almost like gave like a purple hue when it came to me being over here. If you don't want to watch it already, going back to it. But essentially, it gave almost like a space for, let's say, me as the person in the frame to like transition stuff. And as well, I was in the foreground starting it off, and why I decided to do that was essentially to just convey to my audience that I'm setting up something. I'm setting up something, whether if you're interested or not, whether you need the text bubbles to say like, oh my gosh, you're on the microwave. And you actually were. You were actually on the microwave. I'm just being just very truth to what I want to convey to people. But in essence, I went back here into frame. It's almost a very simple way of, when you try to storyboard, in essence, you want to know the camera frames, learn that, and as well understand like leading lines. But leading lines is not the term I would say or to use. I would say more or less like your leading focal point. Like where do you want the eye to, I forgot the term. I'm on a time restraint. Where do you want the eye to move around? So I started in the front, then I went to the back, and then I went across. And a lot of that also helped with lighting. So you also have to think of leading lines as well as lighting. Lighting can really be helpful with mood, but it's also, you know, if you want to be fancy, you can do like, not gradients, you can color grade. I don't know a lot about color grading. I only know about like editing photos and make them very saturated or very dark or very transparent, or make the viewpoint very close to the thing. I think objectively, when it comes to storyboard, like I did not storyboard this video. This is all just made up, and I just wanted to understand how to formulate segments and how to do things. But again, in the end, I would focus when you do storyboarding is your camera frames, who is your subject, what you want to frame. Lighting, color grading is later on, but the movement and how you want to transition with bleeding lines for each thing. And I think that's it. So that obviously that wasn't helpful. There's also the rule of thirds, a little bit of segment, but that's about it. I'm a fan of rule of thirds. So that would be my segment of just doing things. Some things I'm interested in, some things I want to keep learning on. Of course, my terminology sucks, more ignorance as it is, but at the same time, I timed myself, so I wasn't really thinking too much. I was thinking on the fly of things that it shows my knowledge on things. Okay, so the next segment, whatever it is, I hope you enjoyed the segment. I hope you got some ideas out of it. I hope you got something you learned about it. And okay, next one, ready, go. Currently, I plan to, I'm driving somewhere. Yes, I'm going outside. I was debating whether or not to almost cop out, to be like, man, I could just go out of my, like name, like just open it's a garage door, the window, and just like do that, but I can also just drive or bike. Next time I probably bike. I won't go this far, but I've never also been this far off where I'm driving. I think there's almost a mystery to it, to wherever I'm gonna go. I also need to get gas, so it's almost like a good excuse to get gas in general. And I'm just going to try and draw from somewhere, or like some like place. I don't know where. This is the weirdest thing. This is the right place. Ooh, there's a park here. I might. Yeah, I might go here. This is very obscure. Where am I going? Very weird. I'm just driving. Okay. I think if anything, for like a little rant while I try to find parking. Really have houses. I've never been in this neighborhood. And I gotta say, it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Because I don't know, I'm just driving. Parallel park much? Okay, we're gonna cut now to me in somewhere in the forest. I gotta find a spot. I don't know. That's where I came from. This is the view. I almost have to show. Okay, so what I plan to do is just draw this. What I see. And I have to do that for myself as practice. Also just to be outdoors, but also just draw. I don't know how to hold this because there's a lot of thorns. But I probably will just sit and just put my phone here. And then draw. I brought a pencil and a notebook. Oh, it's white. That's fair. I got this book. It's not inspired by, but it gave me an idea from like Star Trek Discovery. It's cool. Planets are cool. I might make like a separate just like still image of what I'm drawing, but essentially I'm just gonna talk while I draw. And you can draw with me if you're interested in drawing, and just some tips that I find interesting when I draw. I don't typically draw like landscapes, but there was only one exercise in class that we did, drawing landscapes, and for the most part it was in the same park, and a lot of it dealt with line hierarchy and how much you use your lines. I don't know how to. I'll just show my progress every time. Like, this is me. I don't know how to show it. I don't have a tripod. When I have a tripod, I can show it better. But at the same time, while I was walking just over here, just in general, I realized that, yeah, I'm just not the type of person who goes out a lot. And I just see a lot of people going out, and they're either just like with their like family member or just significant other. They're biking or they're running, jogging at this time, and I'm like, wow, good for you. I stay inside a lot, and as much as it's trickling down rain, I'm doing the tower thing. It's over there. It's very interesting to see that, you know, people go about their lives or they don't struggle. Obviously, how I struggle in case of like, oh, just draw each day, or like be present in life. And I'm like, okay, I should do that a bit more often, because I think, for if anything, I set myself out to also like bike each morning, which I didn't, because definitely living on your own for the first time, it's almost, you fear to be like, will you be snatched, will you be crazy abducted or something, and I don't want to think about that too much in general. But I think also the hard part, I'm looking at these people, I'm doing the leaves now. I'm drawing them like circles. This is the road, and then this is the tower. I don't want to keep moving the camera. I think it would be better if when I have 2 camera set. Should I do 2 camera setup? I don't think so. I think that's too much. I think it's definitely important to draw from life. Because a lot of it, when it comes to just drawing in, like, from a photo, this is obviously the thing you are taught in school, than opposed to just like anywhere else. It can also be honest, going to be teaching you that you should at least draw a few times each week. Just draw from life. Just like draw people like moving, draw people doing things, and it will help you definitely, not just with your skills in drawing, but also it also helps with you just being able to be present. I say that to myself, be more present in the moment, and to appreciate almost that there's other people out there as well who are just doing things or existing, which, you know, I forget sometimes. And for the most part, I would not want to have any other. It's hailing. I'm still drawing, but it's hailing. And you know why that's perfect? There's not a lot of people out. There's not a lot of people outside, so I can just. And I like to see like it's hailing. And these are the moments that you live for. Like, what do you live for? Okay, currently I'm at the point where I'm just drawing trees in the background. How I draw trees, actually, is like I draw like a triangle, no matter what the shape of the tree is. If I had to like move a little bit, to move this a little, I hate this. If we look at those trees, there's nothing to prop this. If I look at these trees, let me just draw. Ooh, this is actually better if I do this. If you look at these trees, they're almost like you have an upside down pentagon shape. So you can like just draw an upside down pentagon shape. This is just a little tutorial. And then you focus on the lines of each tree and do that. You do the pentagon lightly, of course. And then you just draw like the veininess of each tree. That way you can get proper shape or form when it comes to especially like concept art. Or you can also just draw like a square here as well. Going from here. From here? No. Okay, wrong. Going from here. Yeah. It's backwards. And you can see there's another triangle point. You can mimic the triangle points. And it's a lot to do with shape. It's hailing too hard. It's a lot to do with shape. And the aspect of, as well, drawing from environment, you can tell there's like different hues. Like this is like a very green opposed to like the foreground green, which is here. And the yellow is of just the general leaves here would be lighter. But since this is a sketch, I am just trying to just draw it out from here. So I'm trying to put it back here. But essentially, I'll just look at this photo. This is what I'm drawing. Wait, look. Like, you see that line? And then I'm just almost like warping it or expanding upon it. As much as you can draw from light, you can also do it very much like a sketchbook. Where you, I guess where you can like sort of just like compress things. And you're not like limited to just like making this wider or closer. You have the freedom to make the environment that you want. At the same time, I feel like that you just have to try to mimic like, okay, what is the shape language for the tower. It's a lot of like pentagon. That's not a pentagon. That's a trapezoid. Trapezoid shapes, or like triangles you see on the side, and it's a rectangle. And when you see like the bushes here, in real life they almost feel spherical. So you just draw like circles. And for roads, especially when you, I wish I can turn this camera, but as you can see, like right here, that's like, can I just do this? Yeah, okay. This is the end point of it, and it almost curves like this way. Oh my gosh, this way, and it curves in. Oh my gosh, my finger, this way. So that's why I sort of did the curve for the road. Whether if it's distinct or not, this is the curve of the road, that point right there. This is very scuffed. We live in the moment as of now, just to draw from scuffedness. Very interesting. But I'm trying to also draw the leaves for it. Hello. Hi. Oops, my phone. I think when it comes to like drawing specifically like the sticks, it's almost like the bushes specifically. You're trying to just draw like just lines, and it's just a lot of lines, and I find that myself, that I draw that digitally as well, just like a lot of lines to almost emphasize the foreground more or less. But when you see like similar objects like the leaves, you want to like give yourself just almost like a diamond shape with the leaves, and it's nothing like too special. Like I think as of now, I would start going like shading it in, like the ground is like more gray than the trees, because if anything, when you're drawing like green, it's very much a part of where you're just like doing things. I think, I think when you're like actually in the moment, when you're like talking to people, like when I said hi, I don't know if the camera flipped. I wasn't looking at the camera, but I was more just looking at the guy, like he just walked around. Like, I just said hi, and he said hi. Like, I think for me, for like social situations, just like that, I'm very open now. I think in the past I would have not been more open. I don't know how to. I'm trying to show my art, but I would probably tone it back in the background, and we have gray skies, so it's not a lot. But this right here, I would say, is enough for like an artist, and especially. This is my little sketch IRL of an environment piece I did. And it's very, very simple. And I think it just also goes to show that, you can go to a park, you can try to find somewhere secluded, and say you find someone, hop in, just be apparently nice to them, and say like, hi, that's cool. Especially also water. Like, if I had to draw water, then you just draw it real quick. You kind of see like the ripple effect to it, and I think for one key detail when it comes to like art like this, it's especially important to like, I can't really do it here, but since it sort of rained, the rain's sort of stopping, is that when you would want more detail in the foreground in a way where it hits more of the light, as opposed to that was bad explaining. Okay, no, I would argue by saying, like, let's say for example you have a circle, right? You have a circle, ignore the line, and you want to turn the circle and have some form or shape or shadow. Like if this circle had scales, I think that's the best example. If this circle had scales, where would you put or want to convey the scales more? You want that to convey more in the light. And let's say this is like the light. The light is shining. Oh, the light is shining on the scales. It's not showing in the shadows. You want to keep your shadows very simple. You almost want to just like not put a lot of detail in things that wrap around or almost don't need as much detail as they already need, because then you're almost sort of trying to do hyper realistic drawings, which, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to do that. But what takes more time is hyper realistic drawings than, you know, conceptually trying to get it out. I'd rather do like 100 crappy drawings than like 100 style, like very keen drawings. And it depends on your lifestyle alone as well, if you are up to doing that each day or not. It's manageable, but you don't have to. I think the rain just shows that I should go and I should leave now. But I think to end it off, I really like this exercise. Just going out, just sitting. I think there's always a worry of being kidnapped or being robbed, but you know, I think as an artist, you have to really like, or just in general as a person, you just have to really consider that I'm gonna actually put you in a better spot. Good butt. I think you just really. Oh wait, this is actually better. Wait, I should actually do the drawing that I did. That's actually artsy. There's trees here, but I'm not showing it. I think this is what I was drawing. But I think the aspect of it is that when you draw from life, it's very important that you yourself want to try to experiment what details you want to try to go for, and to always start with simple shapes, whether it's rectangles, triangles, circles, for that matter. And as well, first of all, try to get out of the comfort zone of appearing weird when you're just drawing in nature. Personally and honestly, again, I don't typically do this. I only did it for a class, and that forced me to go outside and draw. And now I'm doing this, forcing myself to draw because I post something on my own will. Draw something. Yeah, see, there's the cityscape, there's the trees, and I promise there's trees here. From the angle, from the worm eye angle, it looks simple. But I think for the most part, I want to try to draw every day. I think it's better if, look at that, wow, it's great, the two trees. These three trees are these trees right here. Very cool. Okay. But definitely, I was trying to find a spot. Things that came up to my mind were like, the things that kept up to my mind were like, okay, people are spiking and running on the road, so I can't do that, so I have to find a grass or a rock. And then, like, second, anxiety. So, yeah, go outside. That's one of the things. You can try and learn something. It looks so tall. It's just, my legs. But, okay, I'm gonna end this. I'm also clicking at constantly. Okay, next segment. This was an awesome segment. 3, 2, 1. I think the one thing I also want to talk about is the idea that everyone is living their own life. Everyone has their own things they have to deal with. They have their own, like they're talking to someone already on the comms, or they're trying to, you know, try to exercise and they need to run, or I think those are things that you don't typically acknowledge with yourself as an individual who wants to my thing to do something. And I think for the most part is definitely rewarding if you don't know that feeling. I think it's that feeling of like anxiety, like, okay, you're so up in your head that you want to like just blow up, or you just like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. I think that's the get out of your shell part. It's like, oh, I went outside, I'm not so familiar with going or doing things outside. So it's a lot to not be ashamed of it, you know. But also, I think you have to turn that part of your brain off that says, hey, there's obviously going to be someone you're going to interact with, even in the wild, let's say you're in a park. But do not just like expect that they're also going through something, or they're talking with someone, or they're listening, or they're trying to enjoy also the same thing that I'm also trying to achieve, which is trying to get through the day. It's part of their routine, which I've never made it my routine to walk outside, even bike outside. I just did my work. I stayed inside. Not to say you have to become like me. Not to say that it's so over dramatic. But I feel like wholeheartedly I would say that I want to give a lot of credit towards myself as an individual who wants to go out of their way to do things. You want to do things to the point where it's like, I want to donate to charity. I can do that, but I don't want to almost like solicit it, like almost Mr. Beast like. It's like, yes, I'm doing this for charity. Like when it comes to like a cause, I will honestly do it and then seek out in my community and like how they want me to deal with it, but also and how they want to deal with it, also my opinion on it when I get a bigger platform on like that. But everything else is pretty enjoyable. Okay, so we're gonna go, okay. Clap. The last segment. It's not truly the last segment, but like the last segment. It's called My YouTube History. Why? You don't see that much often. You see people analyzing videos, you see that, but who really talks about, you know, the YouTube they watch in a week? No one. This is actually gonna be a very short one. I think this is a very interesting one that not a lot of people talk about, and you know, I'm gonna move this a little bit RGB. Is it should be discussed because I think it's interesting. You get to know me. Maybe I am not of interest in you anymore when you see my YouTube history, but I will also say I have not watched these in a while. So if I mess up on something, I'm sorry. all I did, I used my iPad. I screenshotted the videos of the YouTube history. I also have to keep in mind, I didn't realize, but I have to like almost mark, like, okay, end of the day, which video did I watch last in that week? And then for the next week when I do this again, I have it more suited out. Because it doesn't tell you when you watch the video. It's more or less, okay, here's the video in order. I have to think about that. So, and furthermore, yeah, there's 52 weeks in the year, so I would make 52 videos like this. That's just me here. So let's see where that goes. You know, first video. Yeah, my YouTube history. Let's see what I like to watch, and if you like to watch them, it's almost a shout out, if even too, because there's like some small channels that I was also like intrigued, like, oh, that is cool. But yeah, I'm gonna just start. Aisha Ray, you know, watch these videos. As you can tell, they're all aligned on the YouTube history thing. I'm like, why isn't that? Because I had it in the background. I like her just rants and commentary that she does. You know, as much as I have no interest in it, there's almost like a feeling to it where I'm also just trying to make rant videos, but almost more like a conversation approach. There's also she also brings up like the friendship appeal to it where she's just talking to the camera like more up close than like cinema like frame like artsy in a way where I'm like trying to show off, but these aren't like my favorite videos. They're just videos and I noted that hey, I just had in the background and what YouTube almost recommended it to me. I think also as well for each like breakdown of a video, I also want to just like break down the idea of the thumbnail. Okay, my phone said my phone storage was full, so I had to delete stuff. Okay, but if anything, I wanted to break down just the video. So it's always like for her videos, there's not an emphasis on like words, if I recall. Yeah, there's not a lot of words. It's more or less like a room. Let's just say a room. And I think this is better suited if I have a bigger marker. I'm sorry. She has a room. This is a thumbnail. A thumbnail. I think to keep in mind when you do thumbnails is that there is like the number, like the time signature here, however long the video is. And I think it's really best whether or not you try to think about if you're gonna put words here, you have to also identify there's gonna be a signature there. But it's a lot of center. Like she's in the center of the thumbnail and she's either like looking at the camera. No, she does have text and mending commentary. It's always here or a little bit off to the side, you know, and she would put text just like right here to like say this is the text, and it's also just a lot of like warm orange color. That's just her room though, it seems like, but if it's on purpose or not purpose, it almost like is just like a room aesthetic. That's what I find interesting, is that that's a lot of her thumbnails are like that. It's like in a room with word text bubbles and her in the middle or on the side. That's something to keep in mind. The next one, obviously I mentioned it, I believe so, but I mentioned the Mr. Beast video of solitary confinement. I think what drawn me to this, obviously again, almost like Aisha Ray, is that you have like a center image and like text above here, and you can see as well, more closely, there's like the video icon. It's really big, which I'm like, okay, crazy, but you know, I clicked on this video because I'm not like a Mr. Beast fan, like sure, but I'm just like, I'm curious what the person at the top is doing. And it's like spend a day in confinement. Like, it was an interesting idea because it's almost this was in and of itself just like a challenge for him to do something, and obviously that's fair to do because he's done like the coffin one. I believe he did like the raft one with other people, but more or less like the isolation aspects of it, I think it also keeps in mind a lot of the topics I talked about now, and I probably wouldn't have talked about if I didn't watch this video, is sort of like, hey, people are like social animals. They need interaction or something new for them to stimulate themselves to actually do something, rather than like you live in a cave or live in a room the whole time for like a week. And then Monster Mask, I just like Bluey, so just seeing this, I'm like, oh, I've never seen Monster Mass before. It's also very in the center, and I think also to note like the words for each one, like it's very lowercase letters, or if it's like more like in a documentary aspect, it's like they infuse water scandal, or men in commentary. It's almost like it's both commentary and as well informal commentary. And then you have your POVs. I don't think this was a POV, but this is just like she was doing for like her subscribers. But Monster Mask here is really good. If you like Bluey, you should watch this one. It deals a lot with like growing up, I believe, and almost like showing your self image. I'm probably misrepresenting it. Um, that's why you probably, but I think that's close enough. And also the fact that animation is also for adults. You know, like who works on animations? Adults. The kids do not work on the animations. You know, and I think the consideration of Bluey, in general, I believe it's very impactful to especially a lot of BFAs and people in animation to be like, yeah, you can tell stories like that, both just for kids and as well just for adults, whether if it's subtle or not. So I really like that one. And then this, I think this is just a duality of video commentary I watch. Like, I don't religiously watch Lex Friedman, but I think this one came up to mind because you don't really see Jeff Bezos doing podcasts or interviews. Probably he does. This is the one that came up. As you can see, the number here again is very on par on his face. You just have to think about that. Probably it's lower. This is in my YouTube history, so I don't know. But the text is like on the side here, so it's very clear that you can know what it is. See behind all black. And also keep in consideration when you think about thumbnails, this is for just YouTube people who want to do YouTube, is just like the background, wherever it's like in night or light mode. Think about that representation behind it and how long something is, like number 4075, like podcast length. And then is Lex Friedman a fraud? I can validate, yeah, from watching the video, I see that. Like, he's a lot into Elon. He's living his man fantasy life. Not to really like judge him or not, but I think a part of life you just have to like, when you see someone who does like not controversy video, but just like a video essay video about like someone who interviews big people. That's my mind process when I was watching this. I was like, okay, you get to see and almost in their element afterwards. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I see that. That's fine. So it's not like, again, I don't watch live streaming, but like I like the people that he brings on. I think that's for any podcast. Like whenever you're listening to something, it's not usually typically for the person. They're almost the mediator or the person who continues moving forward. Whether if it's like late night shows, like I don't really watch Jimmy Kimmel, but I like the person who was on Jimmy Kimmel or something, or Jimmy Fallon, or James Corden. But yeah, they bring personality to it, or not, or if you just talk slow. To sound like you know a lot, but you actually aren't. I don't know. So this is a good video. It's almost a representation of like, okay, as much as you like the person, you should also watch other people's views on the person. And then starting from the top, actually, like I quit. Like, why is every YouTuber quitting? Question mark ones. That's pretty good. And as well, what is content? Explain the identity crisis of artists on YouTube. And these videos in themselves are like almost a call out to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what YouTube wants me to do or think about. And I think this part right here is like the anxiety aspect. Like when you read something, like why is every YouTuber quitting? Like, should I also quit? But I'm just starting my journey. So I'm like, okay, I watch that. And what is content? It's more so this is really good. Shout out to them, these small ones. But starting with this one more so, is that it's great. Like, how do you define it? And for someone who is like a small YouTuber and trying to almost make like more creative, cinematic approaches, or just like deciding to like talk about like, hey, this is content, or I did content, or to post content or make content. I'm extremely being rough on this, the idea of it, but I really enjoyed it. I also kind of see what they're going for their layout, but again, there's a number thing. Again, it could just be because of the YouTube. And then this one is just more of a shout out for a friend, because I was watching their Twitch stream and it was like on they were doing hardcore Minecraft, and I saw, oh, they have like an Instagram, oh, they have a YouTube, and they, this is their first video. So I just want to shout out to them. Some things to also keep in mind. Again, this feels like should be like on the top. It's very empty space. You can do that. And otherwise, everything I think seems fine. Maybe you can probably make this pop more with like a back silhouette, like cutting out with like a lasso tool and whatnot. But otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would recommend watching this video. This is more or less if you like Valorant. I watch some of it. I'm not a Valorant person, but I want to just shout out them because they're also starting on YouTube this year. So I'm like, okay, why not? I'm not afraid to shout out people. And also shout out small creators in the comments if you like any small creators that are also starting their journey this week on YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna clap for the final thing. Final time. What would look better? The dark? I don't think so. I'm gonna keep the light on. I think, current, I will tell you the total because I feel like it should be real. Being very frank, I started at 8:16 a.m. and that last video that you saw ended at 2:30 p.m. as of now. No breaks. It's just me actually just straight up actually doing all those videos in the day. So what it equals is 6 hours and 14 minutes of the in-between time of whatever, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes video, adding on to this now. That's how long it took me to make a video without any edits. Just like full straight cuts and just like segments. I think it's very real, this number, 6 hours and 14 minutes, because that's a lot of time that I just spent, my morning and then my day. I practically just spent my morning doing this video. And a lot of myself is that definitely in the morning, I had some optimism with wanting to make a video. And being that my first ever like vlog-centric video that I made, it's sort of, almost fulfilling that I get to finish it. And to say like, yay, thank you for those who actually stuck around or listened to in the background, or you skipped around the video and you found something or nothing at all. I am honestly grateful that I want to persevere this almost a mental state of just making something, because it doesn't have to also boil down to YouTube, but it also boils down to yourself when you get older. Like, I'm in my 20s, I don't know what I will do in my 30s. And I want to do something where like I record a video tomorrow just for myself privately, and it will be uploaded in a year. It's time to just say like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is how many followers and views, and I think that's just like a weird benchmark, but it shouldn't be like my goals to reach that, but it's just in general like how far I came from doing this or fell out of it. But I will promise myself wholeheartedly that I want to do it, and this video almost is a communication to me to just say that I want to commit to 6 hours and 14 minutes of my time each Saturday. And as though you saw my YouTube history for a week, truly it's not a week, it's on a Saturday, it's then instead of a Sunday. Why? I just chose it that way because I want Sundays to just be my time when I also do college work, because I still have to accumulate college work at the same time when I do the weekends. So Saturdays are almost a time where I'm like, I don't want to be lazy. Typically on the weekends I'm typically lazy and just do a lot of just like laundry and whatnot. It's like I also would rather spend a lot of time just to think about what I've gone through for the week, because I don't classify Sunday. I'm not saying it's like a 6 week, but it's like Sunday's a blur and then it's just Monday again. It's like, damn, it's like you only have Saturday as a weekend. So I'm just, oh, it's almost my creative time that I can just do something and make something. A lot from what I've learned from just making this video alone is I again need a tripod of some sort. I definitely need another camera of some sort, and I am brutally honest, I've only used an iPad and a phone to record this video. And if it, helps that I'm being that transparent with you, I can also be transparent when this video comes out, how it goes, how I talk about it. Probably that'll be like another segment when I do the next week video. But for right now, this is what I'm working with time-wise. And especially with the time, which is invisible, there's a red box that says the timer. It's like 4 minutes in. That this is how long it took me to make a video. Roughly 6 hours and I'll say 30 minutes of my time. So almost like a fourth of my day, being that it's 24 hours, 6 hours, like a fourth of it. Yeah. And again, I want to close off saying thank you for people who also are subscribers again on this channel. I know this is very different, but I know in the long run, when I see animation channels, they don't typically do this. They more or less do like a story time video and whatnot, but I also want to just get personal with you as an individual, not to be like a stalkerish or anything, but just like this. I'm a person who wants to also, and how I get my inspiration out of life, I don't see that much often. I just see that, I see more so like, oh, here's the creative process, here's my writing, there's just a full hour of me, whether you like it or not. It's more or less just for my sanity at least, and I could speak now, especially I can answer a question like, do I feel burnout from this? Generally, somewhat I do, but I also would say that, just doing it for a Saturday, I'm fine with that. I spend my time thinking about my life choices, and I almost just rant about them, but having a video dedicated to it almost feels representational to my well-being as of this week, then later on 52 weeks later. And it's almost like that my YouTube history is almost the relevance of like, okay, do I want to catch up on news? Do I want to catch up on political things and talk about it to you listening just for fun? Because I don't want to say I don't have opportunities to talk to people, but I'm more conscious aware that they have also time on their hands to do things, and I also just want to just blabber about stuff. So I'm gonna end this video with, I also frame it in a way where I know, because I've posted videos before, that there's gonna be like icons here or here, but I'm just going to sing a song and probably, if not, dance to it. If anything, what I really enjoy from this segment that inspired me to do this is RP Park. He does like those are like music at the end of the day. It's like so I'm gonna do that, and I'm not gonna explain it every time I do the video. It's just more or less just for me to lay it out, the bare bones style of thank you for watching this video. If you like, please leave a comment. Again, how do you create habits? Or hey, go outside if you have the ability to go outside. And if you don't have the ability to go outside, share it with your friends or talk about it with your friends, discuss it, say how trash it is, say how good it is, say how it's changing the format of YouTube. I don't know, but I don't see a lot of people trying this out. It's more or less like podcast oriented, and as much as it sound like podcast oriented, I sort of want to develop slowly over time to just develop myself as a person, because currently I have no identity on YouTube, and I want to form that cautiously or carefully. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna make up a song, another exercise. Thank you for watching my video. I know it was very long, but I know that it can probably give someone a better reason to do something, cause it's feeling inside you. Oh, maybe just someday you can just try to figure it all out, but I don't even know when to try to undermine myself. It's overcomplicating, but I know it's not crazy, but I take it all from me. Hey, this is the outro of my video. I don't even know how to end it though. Please subscribe and comment and down in the things below, because I don't even know what I'm gonna do next. Cause every week I don't know what I'm gonna do, but hopefully I'm just trying, and I'm trying it with you. So, having a conversation. Just having a conversation. Let me list out the things that I did. I did an animation. I talked about the process. I didn't like it. Personally, it was kind of jabbering about. And then I talked about my interest through a PowerPoint presentation. Maybe if I did that more or less, then I wouldn't be ranting and exasperating all of my explanations. But I don't even know. I'm just trying something new. Maybe am I gonna take it all for you, but I'm gonna dance to this party, because I know with that. Yeah. Because this is the outro of my video. Thank you for watching. Here we go. This is how I'll end the song right now. Thank you. Please subscribe for more. I plan to do these for the Fridays, share an animation, and then Saturdays do these long form commentaries of That's Just Me. The show's called That's Just Me. Yeah, thank you.